The boy burst through the heavy wooden doors, barefoot, bleeding, shaking. Inside the smoky Italian restaurant, every conversation stopped. Forks froze midair. The Mafia Don, immaculate suit, diamond cufflinks, lifted his eyes slowly. The boy's voice cracked as he screamed, They're hitting my mother! Please, somebody help!" A waiter tried to pull him back. The boy fought free, ran straight to the Don, grabbed his jacket with both hands. Everyone expected the man to shove him away or have him thrown out. But the Don didn't move. His jaw tightened. His eyes darkened. And then he quietly asked one question, a question that changed everything. "Keep watching. You won't believe what that boy revealed next." The boy's name was Malik, just 11 years old, but carrying fears far older than his age. He stood trembling in the center of La Rosanera, the most feared restaurant in the city, home to whispered deals, quiet threats, and the iron presence of Don Silvano Moretti, a man whose name alone could stop a heartbeat. Malik lived in the rundown apartments 3 blocks away. Everyone in the neighborhood knew the Don's power. Police avoided him. Businessmen bowed to him. Even criminals crossed the street when they saw his car. But Malik didn't care about reputations or consequences. His mother was in danger, and he ran to the only man people never dared to fight. Don Moretti watched him carefully. He was a man of control, measured steps, calm voice, cold eyes. But as he studied the boy's bruised face and the dried blood at the corner of his mouth, something flickered in him. A memory, a shadow, something human. At the far tables, Marco Vance, a local developer with a cruel smirk, leaned back. He had been harassing families in Malik's building, forcing them out to clear the property for luxury condos, and when some resisted, he sent collectors. Tonight, those collectors found Malik's mother. Witnesses in the restaurant whispered, "Why come here? He's crazy. He'll get himself killed." But Malik wasn't stupid. He knew something no one else did. His mother once worked for the Moretti family, back when she was young, a housekeeper in their mansion. She once told Malik, "Silvano is dangerous, but he keeps his promises." That was all Malik needed. So he stood there, small but unshaken, breathing hard, scared out of his mind, yet refusing to leave. And as silence thickened, Malik whispered the line nobody expected. "Don, they said my mother snitched on you. That's why they're beating her." Gasps. Eyes widened. Even the Don slowly leaned forward, because that accusation, true or not, meant one thing. Someone was trying to ignite a war. The room fell into a cold, breathless silence. Don Moretti didn't move at first. He simply stared at the boy standing in front of him, shaking, terrified yet refusing to back down. Malik's small fists were balled so tightly his knuckles turned white. His chest rose and fell in quick, panicked breaths, but his voice didn't break. "Who told you your mother snitched?" The Don finally asked, his tone low, controlled, dangerous. Malik swallowed hard. Those men. The ones Marco sent. They dragged her out of our apartment. They said she talked to the police about you. They said they were gonna deal with her tonight." Murmurs rippled across the room. Marco Vance froze mid-sip of his wine. His jaw tightened, a small twitch the Don did not miss. Moretti leaned back in his leather chair. "When did this happen?" 15 minutes ago, Malik said. "I ran as fast as I could." The Don nodded once. Then he snapped his fingers. 2 bodyguards moved instantly, Rocco and Dante, mountains of muscle in black coats. But Malik wasn't looking at them. He was focused on Marco, because Marco's eyes were filled with something Malik recognized. Fear. But why would a powerful man be afraid? Unless Malik had just... As the Don stood, the entire restaurant stiffened. Chairs stopped moving. Glasses halted midair. Conversations died in throats. "Marco," the Don said, his voice deceptively calm, "you've been telling me you're keeping the neighborhood under control. Yet here stands a boy, beaten, bleeding, claiming your men are assaulting women in my territory." Marco chuckled nervously. "Silvano, you know how kids are. They exaggerate. He probably ran into some... I saw them." Malik burst out, voice cracking. 3 of them. one with a snake tattoo on his neck. I tried to fight them, but he hesitated. The Don leaned closer. Go on, boy. Malik lifted his shirt slightly. A black phone, screen shattered, casing cracked, was tucked into his waistband. I recorded everything. A collective gasp filled the restaurant. Marco's face drained of color. The power shift begins. Dante gently took the phone from Malik and handed it to the Don. Moretti played the clip. Screams. A woman crying. 3 men threatening, accusing, hitting. A voice saying, "Boss said she's been snitching. We finish her tonight." The Don's jaw tightened, but his eyes remained eerily calm. He looked directly at Marco. You sent men into my neighborhood, making decisions in my name. Without my consent, Marco stammered. Silvano, you don't understand that building. I understand plenty. Malik stepped forward. Please, Don Moretti. They're still hurting her. She can't walk. She was on the floor. I don't know if. His voice cracked. For the first time, the Don knelt down beside the boy. He placed a heavy, steady hand on Malik's shoulder. No one hurts a mother in my city, no one. But Marco wasn't done. He glared at Malik with venomous rage. You little brat. You think this is going to end well for you? You don't know who you're. Rocco grabbed Marco by the collar, slamming him back into his seat. The Don didn't even look at him. Rocco, Dante, bring my car around. He turned back to Malik. You're coming with me. They rushed outside. The black Cadillac roared to life, headlights slicing through the night. Malik climbed in beside the Don, his hands trembling. Moretti poured him a small cup of water. Drink, breathe, and tell me exactly where they took her. As Malik gave directions, Moretti pulled out his phone. A single call. A single command. Lock every street from 8th to Juniper. No one enters. No one leaves. The Mafia moved faster than police ever could. Within minutes, the neighborhood transformed. Unmarked cars blocking exits. Shadows moving between buildings. Eyes watching from rooftops. And Malik, seeing all of this, realized the terrifying power he had summoned. But he also realized something else. The Don wasn't angry because of disrespect. He wasn't angry because Marco acted without permission. He was angry because someone tried to use his name to hurt an innocent woman. That was unforgivable. The car screeched to a stop outside Malik's building. Screams echoed from inside. Malik grabbed the door handle, but the Don stopped him. You stay behind me. Whatever happens, you do not run ahead. Malik nodded, tears burning in his eyes. They stepped into the dark hallway. Shadows. Footsteps. A crash. Then, a voice snarled, "Finish her." And Malik broke. "Mama!" He sprinted forward. The Don cursed under his breath. "Rocco! Dante! Move!" The hallway exploded into chaos. Don's men charged. Malik's heart pounded. And as the Don reached the doorway, he saw the moment everything changed. Malik's mother lying on the floor, barely conscious, a man raising a metal pipe, and Malik standing between them, a child facing a monster. The Don's voice thundered, "Enough!" Freeze frame. The world held its breath. Malik's mother whispered his name, and the Don stepped into the doorway, eyes burning, ready to unleash hell. The warehouse fell silent the moment Vincent Moretti stepped through the door, not because he was the Mafia Don, but because of the boy standing behind him. 12-year-old Jalen Carter, breathing hard, fists shaking, eyes still wet from the sprint he'd made across 3 blocks, running for help no child should ever need to ask for. His mother's scream still echoed in his ears. Vincent's men paused mid-stride, shocked to see their boss arrive unannounced. But they were even more confused to see him arrive, with a child. Vincent raised one hand, a quiet command. Every boot stopped moving. Every breath seemed to wait. Then Jalen stepped forward, pointing a trembling finger toward the back room. "She's in there," he whispered. "They're hurting her." Vincent didn't blink, didn't question, didn't hesitate. He just nodded once, and the entire building shifted around him. His men fanned out, falling into formation without a single spoken word, like a shadow army answering an ancient oath. The steel door at the back was closed, music blaring, drowning out the sound of something ugly. Vincent turned to Jalen. "Stay behind me." When the Don reached the door, he didn't knock. He didn't turn the handle. He kicked it open so hard it ripped off the bottom hinge. Inside, two men towered over Jalen's mother. Keisha Carter, her lips split. Her arms curled around her ribs. One man held a belt. The other held her phone, scrolling through her messages as if he owned her life. Both froze. The belt slipped from the attacker's fingers, and Vincent smiled. Not a kind smile, a warning. "You lay hands on a woman," Vincent said softly. "And you think you'll walk out of here whole?" The second man scoffed, too stupid to understand the danger. "Who the hell are—" Vincent's fist hit him so fast the sound arrived late. The man dropped like a sandbag. Before the first attacker could react, Vincent grabbed him by the throat and slammed him against the wall so hard the plaster cracked. Keisha gasped. Jalen flinched. The attacker clawed at Vincent's wrist. Sir, please." "You hurt her." Vincent's voice dropped to a growl. "In front of her son." I didn't know that she had someone willing to come for her." Vincent leaned close enough for the man to feel his breath. "You should have known." Then he released him, but only so he could shove him into the corner like garbage. Keisha struggled to sit up. Why are you here? Why would a man like you—" "I'm here," Vincent said, turning toward her, "because your son came to me. Because he thought a criminal would protect his family better than the police did." A murmur ran through the doorway. Jalen stepped forward, hands clenched. "They weren't coming. I called them 3 times. They weren't coming." Vincent stared at him. Really stared. And something old and guarded in the Don's face broke. Because years ago, before money and power and guns turned him into a legend, Vincent Moretti had been a boy just like Jalen. Scared. Unheard. Running for help that never came. He knelt down so he was eye level with Jalen. "No boy should have to beg for his mother's safety," he said. "It's my fault," Jalen whispered. "I should have protected her." Vincent grabbed his shoulders. "Don't you ever say that again. A child's job is not to fight grown men. It's to be a child." Keisha's eyes filled with tears. Vincent rose and turned to his men. "These two don't leave this building standing." A couple of the soldiers moved forward, but Jalen grabbed Vincent's coat. "No, don't kill them," he said softly. "Just make sure they can't come back." The room froze. Vincent looked down at him. This boy who had run through the street at full speed, lungs burning, heart breaking, just to protect his mother, and somehow still had mercy in him. Vincent nodded. "As you wish." He turned to his men. "Break their power. Not their lives." The men dragged the attackers out, already planning what that meant. Keisha was trembling as she tried to stand. Vincent stepped in and gently offered his hand. Something he had never done for anyone outside his inner circle. "You're safe now," he said. She looked into the eyes of the most feared man in the city, and saw not a monster, but a man who remembered what pain looked like, what fear tasted like, what being powerless felt like. Jalen stepped into his mother's arms, and she held him as if the world had almost taken him away. Vincent watched them with a quiet heaviness. Then he spoke, softly but with the weight of a promise. "As long as I breathe." He looked at Jalen. "No one will ever touch your family again." And for the first time in years, Jalen believed the world might finally be big enough to protect them. When the dust finally settled, and the two attackers were dragged out of the warehouse, the night felt strangely still, almost sacred, the kind of silence that comes after a storm. Not empty, not cold, but heavy with meaning. Keisha sat on a worn-out crate, clutching her son's hand. Her shirt was torn, her cheek bruised, but her eyes were awake now. Awake in a way that came from knowing you'd survived something meant to break you. Vincent Moretti stood a few feet away, his back turned, giving her space, though. He was still guarding the room like a fortress with a heartbeat. Jalen tugged on his mom's sleeve. "Mom, are you okay?" She brushed his cheek softly. "I am now, baby. I am now." Vincent exhaled, slow, controlled, before finally turning toward them. "We need to get you out of here," he said. "Both of you, tonight." Keisha flinched. We don't have anywhere to go." "Yes, you do," Vincent replied gently. "You have somewhere safe now." Keisha stared at him, confused, hesitant. Nobody had said those words to her in years. Safe was something that existed for other people. Safe was for families with money, for people whose names meant something, whose voices got heard when they cried for help. But Vincent wasn't offering charity. He was offering protection, the kind forged from blood, loyalty, and promises that didn't break. He stepped forward, lowering his voice. "I'm not asking you to join anything. I'm not asking you to owe me anything. I'm telling you, Jalen showed me more courage today than most grown men I know. He came into my world and trusted me with his mother's life." Vincent placed a hand over his chest. "That means something." Keisha swallowed hard. "Why help us? You don't even know us." Vincent's face tightened. Not with anger, but with memory. "I knew a woman like you once," he said quietly. "Strong, brave, alone. And I lost her because no one came when she begged for help." The room sank into silence. He looked at Jalen. "I won't watch another child go through what I did." A single tear slid down Keisha's cheek. Vincent turned to his right-hand man. "Bring the car around." Within minutes, a sleek black SUV pulled up outside. The streetlights reflected off its polished surface like it belonged in a different world than the one Keisha had been living in. He helped her to her feet, surprising her again with how gentle his hands were for a man so feared. The city lights bounced across her bruises, making her wince. Not from pain, but from the realization that someone powerful finally saw her. When they reached the car, Vincent paused before opening the door. "There's a safe house in Midtown," he said. "Anonymous, guarded, warm, food in the fridge, fresh clothes, hot water. Sleep without fear for the first time in however long it's been." Keisha's voice trembled. "Why are you doing all this?" Vincent knelt down beside Jalen again, his voice low, almost reverent. "Because your boy reminded me what honor looks like." Jalen stared up at him with wide eyes, unsure how to respond. He wasn't used to adults taking him seriously, but Vincent did, and he made sure Jalen felt it. "You're a brave kid," Vincent said. "A good kid, the kind the world tries to crush early." He placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. "You came for me because you thought I was strong. But what you did tonight, running through the dark, screaming for help, that's real strength." Jalen swallowed the lump in his throat. No one had ever said that to him. Ever. Keisha placed her hand over her heart. "Thank you. I don't know how to repay." Vincent shook his head sharply. "You don't owe me a damn thing." He opened the car door for her. Jalen climbed in first, sliding across the leather seat like he was stepping into a different lifetime. Keisha followed, still shaking, still trying to process the fact that her nightmare ended not with police sirens, but with a Mafia Don kneeling beside her son. Just before he closed the door, Vincent leaned in and spoke softly. "From tonight forward, you're under my protection. No one touches you. No one threatens you. No one comes near this family unless I say so." Keisha's breath caught. Jalen whispered, "Does that mean we won't be alone anymore?" Vincent's voice softened in a way his men had never heard. "In this world, kid, everyone deserves at least one person who answers when they cry for help." He nodded to his driver. The car pulled away, carrying Jalen and his mother into a safer future than they ever imagined. Vincent watched the taillights fade into the night, knowing he had rewritten a story he'd once lived. And this time, the ending was the one he wished someone had given him. A world where the innocent don't fight alone,